gentlemen, and welcome back to the All-American Savage Show podcast. I am your host, John Burke, today. Before we even get started, I got to make sure that the audio is good. Unfortunately, my bearded, beautiful husband, Josh, is out of the studio today. He's taking care of some personal errands. So I want to make sure that everything is sounding and looking good. Can I get some feedback in the chat? Are we good? Are we golden? This is what happens when you're not an expert really at anything. You're just kind of like a face that talks, and you don't really know dick about what you're doing. So that's kind of, okay, sounds, all right, good. We're good then. All right. So, good morning. I'm glad y'all are tuning in with me here today down here in Richardson, Texas at the Shell Shock CBD HQ. As I said before, Josh is kind of out of the loop today. He's taking care of some personal issues, and I already miss him. He's my, I'm not gay, but, I would totally fuck him. No, not really. Anyway, but I wanted to say thank you for everybody that shared the episode yesterday. Nurse Erin had came on to discuss her experiences inside these hospitals in New York, to include also in Florida. And for many people, to include myself, it was very eye-opening to actually have a first-hand account and testimony of somebody that was actually on the front lines combating COVID. And it's sad. It's sad to see that this is what happened in our country at the hands of our government. And I think where a lot of the wires get crossed is that with the emergence of COVID and things such as that, and remember when I told people that QAnon was a very, very dangerous thing, and people didn't believe me. And it was for this matter right here that in the grand scheme of things, when you have a diehard cult of conspiracy theorism, it tends to blend over into other aspects of our American society, much less world society, to where like somebody like Aaron can come out and say, look, guys, I have all this evidence. I have these videos. I have all of these things. And we've been so, I want to say emotionally immune to whistleblowers and things such as that it tends to be difficult to believe people anymore. And we've had these conspiracy theorists, such as the Q cult, that has damaged. They've caused massive damage to this. So it makes people like myself very skeptical and leery when people are sliding into my DMs with these stories, with these things. But I've known Erin. I know she's not a liar. She's not the type to, fabricate things and stuff like that. But that was the first time I'd actually spoken to her about it. I'd seen a few of the things that she posted, and it was... it was really eye-opening, and it was sad. It was really sad that so many people have had to die simply because the government is just being the government. But this is why you never trust your government. But either way, this episode today is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. Make sure you check us out. We're an e-commerce-based store. Also have a brick and mortar here in Richardson, Texas that you can actually come and visit. Again, that is shellshockcbd.com. Right now, we're kind of in the middle of building out the new studio. It's taking a little while because it's going to be a really nice studio, and we're actually going to start flying guests in. I've already got a great list of guests, some political, some non-political. We're going to be expanding the show in some different directions now, and it's not going to be just politically focused. We're going to have some conversations about topics that aren't just even political focused, love, sex, the whole shebang, and it's not like we're going to sexualize the show or anything, but talking about various different things outside of the political sphere to give it some, what's the term? I don't know. Je ne sais quoi. I don't know. Just, I've been watching the downloads. I've been reading the comments and people writing into the show, and they're saying they're enjoying these styles of shows. And to tell you the truth, it's actually kind of nice to take a step back and get away from the drama of the political sphere, because it can be very taxing on the soul, especially myself. You're reading this news all day, every day. It gets to the point where it's very depressing, and you need a break. And I know if I need a break, then people need a break, because there's only so much negativity you can consume before you're just ready to blow your fucking brains out. So, but anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the news. And this is actually really good. Like, I really like this. Is on Breitbart, and the headline basically says, the Canadian Health Ministry shares foot fetish porn link instead of COVID data. I love that. I just love that. I don't know why. I do love that. And it's not because of what he did. It's just the meltdown that's going to cause from a lot of people out there, because like, oh my God, foot fetish. Oh my God, that's so disgusting. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're probably watching like midget porn or something like that, to where people are just, they're very judgmental. We live in an insanely judgmental society. And I know I definitely contribute my part to that when it comes to like dating fat women on Tinder and shit like that. It's like, you're fat? Nope, swipe left, not going to happen. I know, yeah, we're all judgmental to an extent. I realize that. But this is just freaking great. Like, I love this. It shows like a human side to it. Now, look, I am not condoning elected officials going out there. It's like, hey, guys, I'm going to send you a link to the new sign-up where you can do whistleblowing on government corruption. It turns out to be like a gay porn link. Okay, it's like, yeah, I get it. Probably shouldn't do it intentionally. But either way, this is funny. Like, I love this. This is the kind of stuff that makes me laugh. So this comes to us from Breitbart and says a Canadian health ministry has apologized for sharing a link to a foot fetish porn video instead of government COVID statistics. I mean, truth be told, I'd probably rather watch the foot porn as it is in the statistic because it's all lies. At least with the foot porn, you know it's real. You know they're not lying to you about that. You get what you see or what you pay for or whatever. Speaking of that, so totally random. I know, totally random. I don't care. It's my show today. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. I'm on this dating app, and this woman matches with me. Or she likes me first. I check out her profile. She's very attractive. She kind of looks like she's into the club scene, which I'm not. I'm not really into that movement. I'm not like about bottle service. If the music's too loud, it's like, I'm ready to go home and go to bed. It's just not my thing. I'd rather chill at home or a pub or theater, an expose, or anything like that. Something that's, I wouldn't say like culturally based, but something where you're going to learn. And I like stuff like that. It's very interesting. I don't want to go to a club where you're trying to meet up with friends. It's like, what? Okay, yeah, totally. Like, your hearing's already blown out. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not really into that anymore. And I'm not knocking it. I get how a lot of people are. But fuck me running, man. Dating in the Dallas area, that's what it's all revolves around. It's like $30,000 millionaires. And that's what these women and dudes are into, and especially doing a lot of coke, apparently. Not my thing. But I matched with this woman, and she has this name list. Because, for those that don't know, on these social media sites or these dating apps, a lot of women, very, very attractive women, will essentially put their social media links, even though they're not single, in an attempt to actually increase their follower base. It's a very smart tactic. I will give them that. These hoes, they know what they doing, bros. They know what they doing. They're trying to get you that little simp follow because they want to grow that follower base so they can be the influencer they always crave to be. So I was just like, and a lot of them also put on there, like, DM me on Instagram. I don't check this app much, which I get pissed off about. Then why do you have the app? I'm not following you. I'm not sliding into your Instagram DMs. Be an adult. Answer your DMs here. I don't like that shit. Maybe that's just me being finicky or picky. I don't know. But either way, it's like, if that's the way you feel, then just go date on Instagram. Go check your DMs over there. So she had her Instagram name posted. And the only reason I checked is like, okay, I'm actually kind of interested in this woman. I was like, let's go see if she's a nut job. Because, social media, we always put little snippets of our life that we want people to see, So it can also be fabricated. It can also be this illusion of who that person actually is. And so I went and I looked at it, and it had this, where I was typing in her name, but 2 accounts came up. I was like, okay, I get that. Like, I have 2 or 3 accounts because I get banned left and right. And I check out her main profile, and it's private. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to follow because then it's just kind of weird. But then I go and I check out the other account. And it's got like 14 followers. Her main account's got like 2,000 or 3,000. I was like, okay, this is weird. So I check out the 14 account one. And sure as shit, dude, I am not lying. That link tree, that link that you click, you know what's there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let's not even pretend like we don't know. Or does it have to be like this elephant in the room that guys like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never click on those. And, damn right. She didn't have an OnlyFans. She had a webcam service. And I'm like, wait, no fucking way. I was like, that, absolutely not. So I clicked on it. And I'm not even ashamed to admit that. I was like, I got to see this. Like, I've got to see what this is about. Like, you've got 14 followers and you've got a webcam thing. I'm wondering if this is on your main profile too. So at this point, though, it's all bets are off. I'm not going to date somebody that's a webcam model. It's not my thing. I'm sorry. I just can't. Have more self-respect for yourself. Not going to do it. And what somebody does in the past, I don't care about. But it's like where you're at now, I do care about. And that's not even public image. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I'm friends with like Jenna Jameson and people like that, porn stars, very famous porn stars. I don't care about that. That's them. But to be romantically involved with somebody, it's like, yeah, I'm not paying you $5 to get a peep at the goods. So I clicked on the link, and I couldn't tell like if she was streaming live because she'd messaged me, and we started the beginnings of a conversation. And I was like, it was boring. I'm not going to lie. I hate one-word responses. And it's just kind of like these women on these apps, and I know I'm going down a rabbit hole on this. These women on these apps are like, I just want someone that's going to say more than hey to start off the conversation. It's like, why is it always on men? Why is it always on men to do this? Like, we have to be the initiators of conversations. Like, but what if you're not interested in us? Why am I going to go into and rack my brain to have some kind of great opening line to try and catch your attention? Why can't women do the same thing? Because if you're on that app, and that's where I feel like a lot of it comes from, a lot of women are not on these apps to date. They're on these apps to be chased. That's what I've learned. And I've had multiple conversations with these women on these apps who shortly after blocked me, but basically said they want to be chased. It's like, well, what makes you worth chasing? What do you bring to the table besides your appetite? Because what I found is when you're a very successful, attractive, intelligent man, that you know what you want, that you're very confident in who you are, and you're not going to give chase, women that are superficial and shallow don't know how to handle that. Because in this day and age of beta males, men that, dating right now is not hard for dudes. If you're an alpha, if you're in shape, if you take care of yourself, if you apply yourself, if you're just a generally good person, honestly, it's like being the turd in the diarrhea. It's not that hard. No pun intended. But these women don't know how to handle men like this. They're not going to bow and bend the knee when she flashes her or she blinks her eyes and stuff like that. It doesn't work that way. But this woman, we were having these one-word conversations. Finally, I was like, well, you're very talkative. And I was like, well, what do you do? And she didn't answer for a while. And I'm like, okay, I just want to see. And I didn't tell her I had already snooped and pooped. And she's like, I'm a conversationalist. And I'm like, oh, really? On what topics? I am too, oddly enough. I do a podcast. What do you discuss? And she didn't answer. I'm like, okay. And then he goes, I'm an architect and interior designer. It's like, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. And after that, I think she kind of lost interest because I think she knew that I was kind of, I was onto her bullshit. But it's like, can you imagine starting out a relationship or the beginnings of a potential relationship built upon a lie of something that you are trying to conceal in a sense of, hey, I'm a webcam model. Why not just lead with that? You could easily lead with something like that, and I would actually have a lot more respect for you. I understand why some people would probably keep that hidden because, in this day and age of extreme judgmentalism, I get it. I understand that. But it's also a lie if you don't, and you chose to do this. So it's kind of like if she's an architect, an interior designer, but also a webcam model, something ain't adding up here. Something ain't adding up here. There's something rotten in the state of Texas, and it's probably coming. Never mind, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, it was like, yeah. But where was I going with this? These dating apps. I forget where I was going with this, but that was just kind of a funny experience. It was because of the foot fetish porn stuff. But I was like, I don't know. I don't get women these days. Like, I just don't get them. It's a fucking nightmare out there. It really is. And yeah, the levels of just self-worth that these women create you know what I need to do? I need to go snoop on the guys. I do. I need to snoop on the guys and see what they're posting. Because I do have a lot of women match me. And there's actually a lot of beautiful women too. I won't lie about that. But the problem is the conversation is boring. There's nothing there. It's just like, I guess it's like being a sapiosexual. You're attracted to intelligence, an intelligent conversation, and someone that can actually hold one, and someone that actually has their own opinions, which is just mind-boggling to me. Like when you can actually sit down with a woman and she will disagree with you on something. It's like, oh, really? Okay, I respect and appreciate that. Even though you're probably wrong. No. You get where I'm going. But yeah, that one, she unmatched me pretty damn quick. So, damn. I probably should have tipped her $5 though, just to make her feel comfortable. Whatevs. The health ministry in Quebec has been left red-faced and forced to apologize after a link was shared on official government social media directing netizens to a foot fetish porn video instead to the government body's daily tally of local COVID cases. Oh, my God. A spokesman for the ministry has since confirmed that an investigation is now underway into the sordid gaffe. What is there to investigate? It's like, I don't know, Joe's over there probably looking at porn and mixed up the links, I guess. I don't know why you're watching foot porn while looking at COVID statistics. I'm not sure how you could even stay sexually aroused looking at that. But yeah, hey, to each their own. Maybe he's into that. I have no idea. According to a report by Le Journal de Québec, the now deleted social media post linked to a video on Pornhub, a site that has previously found itself under heavy criticism for allegedly allowing child pornography and footage of rape to be disseminated on its platform. The publication went on to claim that it took around 30 minutes for the gaffe to be rectified. They had to finish. He had to finish. He's sitting there with like his tissue and stuff. He's like, no, I'll change it when I'm done. Hold on, let's get to the good part. She's taking off the toe rings and putting some like Lubriderm on there. Like, don't judge me. It's weird. The publication went on to claim that it took around 30 minutes for the gaffe to be rectified, with the government department subsequently apologizing for the error. And they said, and I quote, "Due to a situation beyond our control, a link within..." How is that beyond your control? That is absolutely within your control. What are you talking about? That's like the only way that's not in control is if like you get hacked and somebody posts that. How is that not in your control? Like, that was one of your employees. That is within your control. I like that. The publication went on to claim that it took around 30 minutes for the gaffe. Or no, they said, due to a situation beyond our control, a link with inappropriate content was posted on our Twitter account. The online apology read, "We are looking for the causes. We are sorry for the inconvenience." The causes is because the dude gets turned on by women's or other dudes' feet. That's your causation right there. I'm not sure why you're wanting to investigate that portion of it, but hey, be my guest. Go down that rabbit hole and see where it takes you. Probably like a Nike or a Foot Locker. I don't know. While the foot fetish porn link controversy has no doubt left Canadian officials embarrassed, they will at the very least be able to take solace in the fact that things could have been worse. That's right. They could have linked midget porn. For instance, they can be grateful that their adult content gaffe was nowhere near as bad as one which occurred in the Italian Senate last year, which saw an animated porn video broadcast live, both online and reportedly on television, during a meeting on government transparency. I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. Somebody's getting fucked. That's fairly accurate for the government. I kind of agree with that. It's like, I've never been into the anime stuff, though. I watched anime when I was a kid, but not the porn or anything, but like anime cartoons. I'm not into it anymore, but yeah, I just never got into that. But it makes sense. Like, it's a government thing saying, government transparency, and there's two people getting fucked. It's like, no, that's about right. That makes sense. Held by the left-wing five-star movement, the publicly broadcasted meeting, which was attended by a Nobel Peace Prize-winning physicist, was interrupted midway through by anime-style fan-made pornographic footage of a popular video game character. According to the Daily Mail report on the incident, the footage continued to be broadcast for around 20 seconds before being shut down. An organizer for the event claimed that someone had snuck in to an online video call for the event, with the Italian wire service ANSA reporting one Italian senator as saying that she had reported the incident to the country's postal police and that she hoped those responsible for the high-profile prank would be punished hard and maybe even spanked. Maybe some hair pulling and some choking. Yeah, that's right. You like that, don't you? You're dirty. All right. I'm going to stop. Sorry. I get on these tangents. Over 30, this is also from Breitbart News. Over 30 women sued Pornhub on Thursday and accused. Okay, so I do want to go into that because I had seen that this Pornhub thing had actually happened months ago. And it was not that Pornhub had allowed for child pornography or rape or stuff like that. It's that before, and I'm not sure how it is now, because I remember reading very in-depth about this, was that Pornhub allowed users to upload their own videos on their own channels, much like YouTube, and had very lax moderation standards. And then upon further investigating, there were some very serious cases of actual rape and child pornography. But it wasn't Pornhub condoning it. It was Pornhub saying, we fucked up. We have to get tighter with our measures as far as what's being allowed to be uploaded. So this article is a little misleading. Now, I know Pornhub has also been held accountable for a lot of sex trafficking and things such as that. That's a whole different ball of wax. But I feel, to be honest, about the first one that this article had made accusations against, that was the causation. And that should be clarified. And it's not me justifying it or condoning it. It's saying the truth needs to be told, and that's why that happened. So, but yeah, I read that article this morning. I got a nice little chuckle out of it. I was like, it's just, I don't know. You got to laugh. In this day and age, you've got to laugh, man. And we're all human. We're all human. And it led me down this rabbit hole. And I don't know why. I don't know why these things bother me, but they do. I was following this one political influencer. I had to unfollow this person. I couldn't tolerate their content anymore. And the problem was that they claim patriot. They own a patriotic clothing brand, all kinds of shit. It's the cliche bro-vet crap. And I mean, look, man, there are phases to everything. To every season, turn, Eagles sang about it, all that other stuff. What bothered me was I saw this guy or girl make a post about cancel porn. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Because I've seen a lot of people rage against porn. I understand that. I get that. Makes perfect sense. I understand that. But to call for the cancellation of something, well, before I get there, let me continue on. I was reading the whole write-up that this person did, like the whole fucking biography they put into this, as far as, we care so much about these other things. What about pornography? Pornography is ruining so many lives, yada, 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 yada. It's like we should be calling to cancel porn. And it just pissed me off because this guy pretends like he's some kind of fucking patriot. He's all these other things. And it's just one of those things that, I don't know. It gets annoying that people continuously push this bullshit of being pro-liberty, freedom of choice, all this stuff. And then you turn around and you use your sense of morality to determine what people should be allowed to do and not do. That doesn't make any sense to me. And it's not even about the pornography itself. It has nothing to do with the pornography. It's a simple fact of that person posturing themselves as if they are the one who gets to determine what people can and cannot do based upon their own sense of morality. I'm sorry, that's not freedom. Now, simple-minded people will not get their minds away from the fact that we're arguing about pornography. They won't take it to the next step of, well, then using that train of thought, using that method of thinking, then let's take it a step further. If we want to ban or cancel something based upon its negative effects, the potential negative effects, and what it can cause, and people in the comments like, John, I watch porn. I'm not fucking ashamed to admit that. I don't give a fuck what people think. What do you think I did in Iraq and Afghanistan? Like jerked it to the women wearing the hijabs and shit? Get the hell out of here. I'm not fucking ashamed of anything. I mean, I am how I am. But the problem was, and it's not even about porn, it's that if that's the methodology that we're going to use to think, this style of thinking, then now we need to ban cigarettes. We need to ban alcohol. We need to ban fatty foods. We need to ban every single thing out there that, by and large, is not good for the individual person. Well, that's the exact opposite of freedom. And what gives any person the right to be the moral arbiter of what is good and bad? Because if we really truly believe in the baseline of morality, which set of morals are we going for? Which religion? Then we have to ask the conversation of, are morals rooted from religion? Can you have morality without religion? Are they hand in hand the same? And if so, then which sense of morality are we going to go with? Islamic, Christian, Catholic, Jew? Which one? Which one? It's a very curious thing. It's a very curious thing. But for people to sit there and say, you shouldn't be allowed to do this because I personally don't like it, and then you turn around with a patriotic clothing brand, is the biggest bunch of hypocrisy I have ever seen. And that's the problem that we see with a lot of influencers, these political grifters that are using these antiquated boomer ideologies to try and rally the people around these things. So in fact, it's not about freedom. It's not about liberty. It's about you wanting your views forced upon other people. And that's not freedom. And again, people will instead focus on the fact of, well, you're defending porn. No, I'm defending the right to choose to do what you want to do. Here's what it boils down to. If you don't like drugs, don't do drugs. If you don't like to drink, don't drink. If you don't like having sex, don't have sex. If you have a problem with two men getting married, don't marry a man. And then it leads to the conversation like, well, John, it's impacting our society, to which I will agree with you to an extent. Yes, it does. But you're also admitting that you're a shitty parent. You can't control what your kids do and see. Or you should be having some conversations with your children. Now, I'd seen before, it's like, well, where do you stand on Disney being canceled? You know, I almost feel insulted with some of these questions that people, I got to turn off the chat. I'm sorry. I can't read some of these stupid questions anymore. I can't. No, I am not for groomers being allowed to groom children sexually. It kind of goes against the law. It's not right. Does that answer your question? I hope it does. I got to stop reading these fucking peasant questions. They get on my goddamn nerves. So, and I saw this and I'm sitting, I had to unfollow the person. It's just like, I can't even anymore. I seriously can't even anymore. It's gotten to a point now where people they buy into this hook, line, and sinker. And they love it because in the comments I read, it's like, yeah, pornography has all these negative stigmas and side effects. Like, yeah, of course it does. So does heroin. So does cigarettes. So does alcohol. But you still imbibe in these. You still do them. You have no issue with that. So then what's the difference? But I am proud of myself because I didn't engage with it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to unfollow. I'm going to let it go. It's not for me. I did a series of posts on my Instagram stories this morning. It's like, people, I'm not trying to tell them what to think, but at least how to think in a sense. To identify these fucking grifters that want to sell you a t-shirt that they don't even believe in. Because in my mind, patriotism means you stand for freedom. And that also, people just get it in their mindset that the freedom comes only with the good. No, freedom also comes with the bad. That's just the nature of the beast. And for people that disagree with this, then find me this utopia that exists on this world, in any country where you have only good freedom. Because if you did, then it's not real freedom. Ultimately, it's your free to choose, which at its core fundamental pillar is freedom in and of itself. That right that you have. I hope this makes sense. But I look at this shit now and I just roll my eyes and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, these people are worse than liberals. They really are. So, yeah. All right, moving on to the next article. No short-term end in sight in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, U.S. and European officials say. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken told European allies the United States believes that Russia war in Ukraine could last through the end of 2022. Dude, we went from 72 hours from General Woke Miley. We went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Well, we kind of got it wrong, guys. No, it's probably going to be about 5-10 years. Why do we listen to anything these idiots say? And we have the inmates running the asylum. And unfortunately, the asylum is Congress. Sweet Lord Almighty. It could last to the end of 2022. Two European officials told CNN, as U.S. and European officials have increasingly assessed that there is no short-term end in sight to the conflict. Many of the officials who spoke with CNN stressed that it is hard to predict exactly how long the war could go on. But several officials said that there are no indications that Russian President Vladimir Putin's ultimate goals have been changed. And it is unlikely that he will pursue diplomatic negotiations unless faced with military defeat. The thinking that this could be a long-term conflict represents a market shift from the earlier days of the war, when Russia was expected to quickly take the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, and underscores Moscow's failures on the battlefield. The longer the war goes on, the more brutal the humanitarian toll on the people of Ukraine. And while officials stress there is likely to be continued international resolve to provide high levels of support to Ukraine, they acknowledge that there may be very real practical challenges regarding weaponry that will need to be dealt with as the war wages on. Again, we've already we've already been forced to give them $3 billion. That was, as of yesterday or the day before on the show, we talked about this, $3 billion of your taxpayer money. We had no say in this. Look, I'm sorry. I don't care about Ukraine. It's not my problem. This is not America's problem. This was facilitated under the Obama administration. I'm not going to go fight and die for these corrupted government officials. Absolutely not. Not going to happen. Now, this is where we're at in our society. AP fact-checked says it's not grooming to sexualize young kids away from parents. Progressives are defending their in-school manipulation of kids' sexual development by smearing the worried parents as conspiracy theorists. Now, why does that happen? Because throughout the Trump era, the QAnon and the rest of these morons pushed nonstop conspiracy theorism to such an extent that any actionable and justified causation for doubt or paranoia or skepticism is now automatically classified as conspiracy theorism. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one has but to just look on social media, TikTok especially, and you will see these pink-haired, fat, overweight, unfuckable lesbians sitting there that are teaching your children, defending this position. Defending this position. As far as talking to your children about things sexual in nature. This is real. This is not conspiracy theorism. This is essentially gaslighting by the press. They are gaslighting you. Progressives are defending their in-school manipulation of kids' sexual development by smearing the worried parents as conspiracy theorists. The smear helps progressives to keep the large block of non-political, non-confrontational parents from recognizing the long-term damage caused by the progressives' K through 12 sexual re-education camps. Now, I had read on a Twitter feed, and we're going to get to the Twitter fiasco here shortly, and it's great. Oh, this is so good. I read on a Twitter feed that there were some people that I followed that were actually defending this because they essentially said that this helps inclusivity. This helps less judgment. And it really got me thinking. It's like, what if I'm a parent that does not agree with homosexuality from a theological standpoint? And I don't want my children believing that either. But you want them forced to believe it. That's all this boils down to. This is an agenda by a progressive leftist movement to try and convert the next generation into being more open-minded, more progressive, more acceptant. And I think the nail in the coffin was transgenderism. I really believe that. I really genuinely believe that. We saw the emergence of Drag Queen Story Hour. We saw Devin the Great, or whatever that kid's name was. They sexualized the shit out of that little boy. Devin Almighty, whatever, I don't know. The mom's dressing him up. I mean, this kid, you look at this boy, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, we know what's wrong. It's his parents. His parents brainwashed him. I mean, what kind of sad, pathetic individual do you have to be? Like, really think about this. That you want to brainwash your child, to hoist that child up as if it's some sort of badge or banner of honor to represent how progressive and open-minded you as a parent are. That you have now manipulated your child. I mean, if you think about it, he's the same, or he was the same age, roughly roundabout, as what they want to talk to children in school. And look how he turned out. He's a nut job. I would not be surprised if this kid doesn't commit suicide when he's later on in his years. I would not be surprised if this kid was sexually abused. The parents should be looked at. A child allowed to go to drag shows where there's adults, and there was videos of this. I know y'all saw this. There were videos where there were grown men throwing dollar bills at this kid who was performing a drag show on a stage. I'm sorry. To this day, I understand how there can be some appeal. I don't find drag shows entertaining whatsoever. I'm not interested in watching a dude dressed as a woman. And here's the thing. Look, this is the problem I have. Number one, it's not entertaining. Number two, at least make it fucking realistic. Fuck me running. At least the trans community gets it somewhat right, to the point where I'm on the dating apps like, okay, is there an Adam's apple? I mean, there's some convincing ones. Like, I had a buddy of mine show me one that he found on a dating app. He's like, would you date her? It's like, oh, hell yeah. Like, she's hot. He's like, that's a dude. I'm like, oh, fuck me. Am I gay now? Like, because I would totally fuck him. I wouldn't, but you get where I'm going. At least the trans community is doing it accurately. These drag shows are like these big bouffant hairs of like blue and pink. It's like, but your goal is to dress like a woman. You look nothing like a woman. Like, what woman dresses like that outside of like maybe Joan Rivers? Like, I have no idea. No idea. Like, I don't understand the infatuation with this. The infatuation. I don't get this, but whatever. To each their own. I guess maybe some women, maybe they feel safe in that environment because I think most of these dudes are gay anyway. But it's to the point where it's just like, it's too much. Like, dude, your face, it looks like, I don't know, you fell into like a cart of JCPenney's or some shit like that. Yeah, or Sephora, like you got raped by a Sephora fucking sales rep. I have no idea. It's bad. Like Bozo the Clown's looking at you like, holy shit, bro, tone it down a little bit, would you? But that's where this stems from. We had the drag queen story hours trying to, why do you think they're going after the youth? Because they know the youth are impressionable. They know they have better access to them. And it's sad. The switch and smear defense is spotlighted by an Associated Press fact check posted April 13th. The AP article distorted the public's strong support for Florida's new law, which seeks to block teachers from pushing pro-transgender and other sexual claims on kids before the fourth grade. The AP distorted the debate by ignoring mainstream worries about classroom manipulation and instead spotlighting the online, uncoordinated criticism of Disney's opposition to the child protection law. Disney said they're going to donate so many millions into trying to to remove the quote-unquote don't say gay bill, which is actually the parental rights bill. And it came out in another article that the Disney heiress, the woman, basically hates America. That we're standing on the wrong side of history. We're trying to prevent the spread of love. I'm sorry, but I think if you're trying to spread love with a child, you should have your brain spread by a 45, point blank. I will continue to call for violence towards groomers. I don't care. I don't give a shit who that offends. If that upsets your moral feasibility, I really don't fucking care. Children, that's it. Like, that's the line. Violence, absolutely. Even if you use your First Amendment right to call for and it's your right to say whatever you want. But I genuinely feel in my hearts of hearts, when somebody calls for the legalization of pedophilia and grooming, you deserve to get a bullet in the head. You do. I draw the line. I know I'm hypocritical because everybody has the right to say whatever they want, free from repercussions, but I draw the line there. Like, if I was legitimately walking down the street and I saw somebody protesting for children, to legalize having, I would probably assault them. I would grab the nearest thing, and I don't want them in my community. I don't want them in my country. I don't even want to share a world with you. I don't. I think you are morally repugnant. You are a subhuman. You are disgusting. You deserve death. You do. And these types of perversions should be dealt with extreme violence. You make these people afraid to come forward. And that's the problem with America. They're no longer afraid. Which I guess in a sense is a good thing, because at least now they're going to show themselves and they can be identified. And what should happen is they should be put on like a sex offender registration. They should. I feel nothing wrong with saying these people should be strung up. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. Well, the third bus of migrants from Texas has arrived in Washington, D.C. A third bus of migrants arrived in Washington, D.C. on Friday and unloaded near Union Station, just blocks from the U.S. Capitol, following orders from Governor Greg Abbott. On April 6th, Governor Abbott ordered the Texas Division of Emergency Management to prepare buses to transport DHS-released migrants on a voluntary basis from their drop-off location to Washington, D.C. To help local officials whose communities are being overwhelmed by hordes of illegal immigrants who are being dropped off by the Biden administration, Texas is providing charter buses to send these illegal immigrants who have been dropped off by the Biden administration to Washington, D.C., Abbott said during a press conference in Willasco, Texas. We're taking them to the United States Capitol, where the Biden administration will be able to more immediately address the needs of the people. And we read this yesterday, too, or the day before. The White House has been critical of Abbott's actions, calling them a publicity stunt. Well, yeah. I mean, when you have Peppermint Patty Psaki blaming Abbott and Border Patrol, and immigration on, dude, the causes for inflation, it's almost like that Spider-Man meme where there's like three Spider-Men like pointing at each other, and they're all like Jen Psaki trying to blame somebody for inflation. It's like you're blaming everyone but yourselves. You're blaming everyone but yourselves. Why? You've taken no personal accountability, no personal responsibility, nothing. All it's literally been is finger pointing at other people. Yet every action the Biden administration has taken has led to this, has led exactly to this. You put Pete Buttigieg, who took a 2-month hiatus because his boyfriend was pooping out 2 twins. He was negligent in his duties, the ports over there, which, by the way, they shut down from being 24 hours to 8-hour shifts, which they said was a dumb move. That had a major role in it. You've got Biden canceling the Keystone. You have over 4,500 permits waiting on the Department of Labor's desk for people to start drilling. And there's like, oh, and then no, Jen Psaki is like, they can start drilling. Nobody's stopping them. Yes, they have no investor confidence in your administration. And I discussed this prior. It's like, can you imagine investing millions into drilling only to sit there and pray with your fingers crossed Biden doesn't shut you down? Because then guess what? You're out millions. You ain't getting it back. They're not paying you. So that investment, you just lost. Many companies, they won't recover from that. So why on God's green earth would I ever invest in drilling under the Biden administration? I wouldn't. You'd be stupid to. Unless I got it written in some type of contract that if you did cancel it, I'm getting reimbursed plus interest. That's the only way I would ever consider doing it. Outside of that, nope. So nobody wants to drill. They're afraid. And then you got Biden trying to talk to Saudi and negotiate deals with them. Like, I'm at a loss with this. All right. If you have not been tracking what's going on with Twitter, you have been missing some grade A, quality cut, unadulterated, American-made drama entertainment. It's been so good, folks. I've loved it so much watching Elon Musk watch Twitter just melt down. This started last week. Elon Musk purchased about 8.5 and 9% of Twitter shares, stocks, if you will. And this basically sent Twitter into a, whoa, wait a minute, like this dude is a majority or he's got a large share. And essentially they said, they offered him a position on the board. To be on the board, there are circumstances that come with that, which I think they said you can be capped at like 14% ownership share-wise. And Elon turned it down. And people, I remember there's that Brooklyn dad Defiant on Twitter. This guy takes more L's than anyone I've ever seen. This guy is your typical black liberal. He uses race for everything, and he's wrong on the majority of things out there. Like, you can go look up this guy's Twitter account. At first, I thought it was satire. I was like, there is no way anyone is this retarded. There's no way. You just can't. You just can't. Sure as shit, he is. And I remember, like, Defiant L's on Twitter. I love following him. He posts one thing they'll post long ago and then a current post that contradicts it. And these are liberals, so it's not very hard. Give it a week and you'll catch them doing something. Being hypocritical in some compassion or some capacity. So when Elon denied the chair on the board, he said, haha, how's that going to feel for all like the MAGA supporters? Now, blah, blah, blah. And then Elon comes out and starts making an offer for Twitter. And then this dude's like, he's flipping out going, oh my God. Everybody, when Elon tweeted out that he'd made an offer to buy Twitter. Dude, I am telling you, if you've not been following my Instagram at John Burke 11B, go check the stories. These Twitter posts are golden. This is reminiscent of the fat woman with the glasses wearing the black beanie and the yellow shirt on Election Day 2016 when it was announced Trump won and she starts screaming at the sky, no! This, but on steroids. The things they are posting, and this is how crazy leftists are on social media. Legitimately, people are saying, this is the end of America if Elon buys Twitter. They are legitimately saying this. Let me show you, or let me read to you what this one guy, and this is a professor. This is a legitimate school professor. His name is Jeff Jarvis. And he's got the look of a beta. He's got the look of, you can tell this guy's a liberal. And he says, and I quote, today on Twitter feels like the last evening in a Berlin nightclub at the twilight of the Weimar Germany. Oh, spare me. Why is it that the left has this infatuation with the Third Reich? What is it with you people? And I'm being sincere. What is it with you people? And everything with you is related to the Third Reich. And yet you know virtually nothing about it. I guarantee the majority of these leftists out there could not even tell me the political ideologies of Adolf Hitler. I guarantee you probably can't. What was his political leanings? He hated Jews. Well, okay, fair enough, but give me more. What was his political standings? They can't tell you because they don't know. They use these historical cosmetic details to try and outline their viewpoints against the other people. Well, if the GOP takes charge, we're going to have nothing but alt-right wing Nazis on here. What is a Nazi? What is a Nazi? And it's not me saying Nazis are good by any stretch, but can you at least tell me what a Nazi was? Because if you actually knew, you'd also understand that comparison is so far off the mark. But this is what the left does. They gaslight, they goalpost move, they change words, and they don't even know what they are saying. Every adjective, every noun, every description they utilize is generally done wrong. They usually get it wrong. Feeling like it's on the verge of Paris before the Germans come marching in. Like, really, dude? Really? The GOP look, man, I'll be honest with you. If the GOP were a bunch of Nazis, you'd know it by now because the majority of you weirdos would be put in camps. You're the party of groomers, and I would have no issue. I'd be sitting there I'd be stringing the wire. I'd be stringing the wire on the camp, making sure it's electrified. All those groomers, you're going in it, buddy. I'd be building the freaking watchtowers. Abso-fucking-lutely I would. John's a mean thing to say. Nope, not when it comes to children. Gas chamber? Fuck no, we're not using gas chambers. Absolutely not. You're getting cold water, bitch. That's all you're getting. Just cold-ass water. Not getting out that easy. No. I'll be installing the speaker systems. I'll be plugging in like the Barney theme song to play on repeat for hours on end to drive you out of your fucking mind. Absolutely. I'll volunteer for the first shift of guard duty. Absolutely. I don't give a fuck. Maybe that's why they're scared. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're scared. But to compare the right to Nazis, seriously? Come on. Come on. It's ridiculous. But this is what they do. This is what they do. They are extremists. They are sensationalists. Everything has got to be blown so far out of proportion. And then the trans community got into it. Oh my God, if Elon takes over, trans people won't have a safe space anymore. What? What are you, like, look, I am not sitting here simping for Elon. I honestly don't trust Elon. I don't know about this guy, but I do know based upon what he has said, he does want journalistic freedom. He does want free speech. He does not want people censored on Twitter. But I think at the core root of all this, they are afraid that if Elon did buy Twitter, Trump would be reinstated. And oh my God, can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, a world, a safe space on Twitter? It's their echo chamber. This is where these people go because they know they will not be censored. They know nothing will happen to them. You can say whatever you want, as mean as you want. You can call for violence. You can call for death as long as it's geared towards the right. And you're protected. Nothing happens to you. Now, suddenly, that safe space is threatened with invasion of what? Not Nazis, simply difference of a political opinion. And they melt. Oh my God, do they melt. The last 48 hours on Twitter, there was a hashtag trending, hashtag leave Twitter. Bro, you click on this and you think that legitimately the Third Reich had been raised from the dead and they were invading Twitter. And you cannot stop, but all you can do is laugh. I've been posting it to my Instagram. And you're just sitting here going, my God, you people have some serious issues. It's like, you want to take them a step, like, hold on, just real quick. You do realize that Twitter's not real, right? Like, you can just delete the app from your phone and you can go back to living in what we like to call reality. I know that's very hard for some of you to fathom because Twitter is your reality. Because in real life, you don't have much of a life. And chances are you're probably very ugly. You're very overweight. Nobody wants to fuck you. And you probably have friends that are very similar to you. So you're a very unattractive, ugly group of fat people that probably smell, that probably do watch anime porn, stuff like that. There is a life beyond social media. So as the 48 hours progressed and more things came to light, I'm sitting here and I'm starting to realize, like, I think I'm kind of like a social media anarchist. It's not that I want Elon to just buy Twitter. I want him to buy Twitter and then set it on fire. And then we all, as conservatives, relaunch our Twitter accounts and we watch it burn. We watch liberals jump from this burning, sinking ship. And at the very end, Elon deletes it. Ugh. What a day. What a day. I would vote to strike a bronze statue of Elon Musk just to be put somewhere in a park somewhere. But then in 10 years from now, the leftists will call it racist and they want it removed. And the city would spend millions of dollars to go put it in a museum somewhere. That's what they do. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Can you imagine just watching the liberals just melt down once Donald Trump comes back, Molly Yiannopoulos comes back, Alex Jones, all these people, even some that I disagree with, to watch them come back? Oh, my God. It'd be like something out of a WWE match. Oh, no, it's not. He's coming back in. It's Milo Yiannopoulos, the gay dude married to a black guy. And everybody's like, I don't know how to combat this. Like, how do we fight this guy? He's clearly not a homophobic and he's not a racist. He's married to a gay black dude. Like, how do we combat this? Alex Jones here. It's Trump coming in. Hardcore. Mean tweets. We're going to make America mean tweets again, folks. It's going to be so great. Because trust me, I know mean tweets. Putin, brace yourself. We're getting nuclear with you. That'd be the greatest WWE SmackDown in the history of Twitter. I would legitimately pay to have our Twitter account just to watch that. And my DMs have been blowing up from the screenshots you're sending me. And instead of getting mad, all you can do is laugh. The just complete outlandish accusations they continuously make. It's mind-boggling. But these are liberals. They legitimately have a psychological disorder. Twitter shareholders win in Elon Musk's quest for justice. Now, this has been the last 48 hours. Things have shifted very quickly. So essentially, there was a lot of these online business owners. And look, I'm not going to lie. I know business, but I don't know business to that level. I am not that experienced with it. That's like high-end billion-dollar industry. But they were saying, from what I was reading, was that Elon essentially made them an offer to buy them way above market value. Way above. And basically they said if the board of directors denies it, then they have to step down because they were not actually acting in the best interest of the company. Instead, they were acting out of private interest because they didn't like Elon, which he could get them fired, supposedly. Take this with a grain of salt. The second option, and this is feasible, Elon's 9%, he dumps. He shorts the stock, and there's a massive issue with Twitter. And Twitter starts circling the fucking drain. I don't know what's going to happen. But Twitter's market cap has risen to near $40 billion from $29 billion on January 31st. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, is willing to shell out $43 billion for Twitter in a quest to ensure that what he described as the world's de facto town hall becomes a platform that plays fair. That plays fair. Who would have an issue with that, right? Who would have any issue with that? Well, no. The issue is the left does not want leading prominent figures of the right on their platform. Not just because they're right-leaning, it's because they can disagree. Liberals do not like being disagreed with. They do not like having their echo chamber threatened. And many people on the right do as well. Let's not even get those two things conflated. They do not like sharing their safe space with people with opposing views and opinions. They don't. Instagram, same way. Facebook, same way. Twitter is a leftist breeding ground for trolls. Elon, buy it and then nuke it. You got the money. Do it, bro. He says, I could technically afford it, said Musk, whose net worth is $264 billion during his TED Talk with Chris Anderson on Thursday hours after making an offer to take Twitter private. But what I'm saying is this is not a way to sort of make money. My strong intuitive sense is that having a public forum, having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important for the future of civilization. I don't care about economics at all, he explained hours after making his blockbuster offer for the social media giant. Here's where it's crucial. Delete it. Make people go outside again and get off their phones. Yeah. Now, remember when we were talking about like Elon wants fairness and stuff like that? Elon Musk claps back against Saudi prince, speaks out on potential Twitter takeover. Musk raised important questions about Saudi Arabia's record on free speech. If you've ever been to Saudi Arabia or the Middle East as a woman, you're not free whatsoever. Let me take my sweater off. So essentially, Tesla CEO Elon Musk clapped back after Saudi Arabian billionaire Prince Al-Walid bin Talil rejected his offer to purchase Twitter for $43 billion. And he says, I quote, "I don't believe that the proposed offer by Elon Musk, the 54.20 per share, comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter given its growth prospects," Al-Walid tweeted Thursday. "Being one of the largest and long-term shareholders of Twitter, Kingdom Holding Company, and I reject this offer. Al-Walid owns a 4.45% stake in Twitter, which doesn't come close to Elon's 9%, while Kingdom Holding, the company he owns 0.72% of the company. Interesting, Elon responds. He says, Musk cheekily responded to Twitter, "Just two questions, if I may. How much of Twitter does the kingdom own directly and indirectly?" That's basically him flexing, saying, I own more. And then second one was, what are the kingdom's views on journalistic freedom of speech? It's kind of like, yes, you don't want me to buy this because I'm essentially going to go against your culture where you suppress women. You're not going to like me. This is why liberals are afraid of him. They don't like Elon. It's just funny to me. Saudi Arabia's law does not provide for freedom of expression or for freedom of the press, the United States Department reported in 2018. Mass media and all other vehicles of expression shall employ civil and polite language, contribute towards the education of the nation, and strengthen unity. The basic law specifies the media are prohibited from committing acts that lead to disorder and division, affect the security of the state or its public relations, or undermine human dignity and rights. Authorities responsible for regulating and determining which speech or expression undermines internal security, and the government can ban or suspend media outlets if it concludes they violated the press and publications laws. So, I mean, again, that was rich coming from a Saudi prince who lives in a country that essentially women are treated, like third-class citizens. It's very ironic. Okay, so this I just saw. And it makes sense to me if you really think about it. CNN's Avalon says, the RNC, Republican National Convention, withdrawal from the debate commission is another blow to our democracy. This is the biggest sense of tripe I have ever read. During a reality check monologue on CNN's New Day network, political analyst John Avalon reacted to the Republican National Committee voting to withdraw from the Commission on Presidential Debates. According to Avalon, the withdrawal is a big deal and another blow to our democracy. It says, I hope it ain't so, but you just might have seen your last presidential debate in America, at least for quite a while, Avalon declared. Yesterday, the RNC voted unanimously to withdraw from the bipartisan commission that sponsors presidential debates. This is a big deal, another blow to our democracy. It also appears to be a temper tantrum thrown at Donald Trump's request, complaining that the commission is biased. Yes, it's biased. It absolutely is biased. Everything ran by the DNC is biased. Leftist media is biased. MSM altogether as a whole is biased. This is Republicans saying, we're just not going to play with you anymore. We don't want anything to do with you. We're distancing ourselves from you. You're the party of groomers. Absolutely not. And you're not going to play by the rules either way. You've rigged elections. You've tampered with so many things out there. We're done with you. I get it. I mean, I'd still love to see a presidential debate. I'd still love to see Trump. I mean, I'd pay. I would pay to see Trump debate the next freaking Democrat primary because I'm pretty sure it ain't going to be Biden. I'd pay to see that because Trump gives no fucks. None. Trying to shut down presidential debates shows a lack of confidence in being able to win a contest of ideas. Not if you've rigged the game. This is like the dumbest thing. This is CNN. This is CNN whose ratings are plummeting. Who this app, the streaming service that you actually have to pay for, couldn't even generate 10,000 fucking views. CNN, you couldn't even generate 10 because you are done. You're lying. You've been caught so many times with the Cuomo brothers and all these pieces of shit, people that you employ, these supposedly journalistic integrity or these journalistic types of people that have just essentially abused their position. They lie. They cheat. They don't want anything to do with you. You are corrupt. You are crooked. And you're sitting there saying, well, that's like a blow to our democracy. No, it's not. You still have, like, I don't even think CNN knows what democracy even is. Explain to me. Explain to me. Because in my thought process, it's saying, well, they don't even want to have a presidential debate because that's just a blow to our democracy. Because the presidential debate is clearly biased. Whoever's moderating it 9 times out of 10 usually is biased. And then how the MSM reports on it is very biased, insanely one-sided. So they're kind of like, you know what? We're not playing with you anymore. You guys are so corrupt, we're done with you. And just like with anything in dealing with the left, the best way to combat that is let the left be the left. They are consuming themselves at such a high rate that it is literally insane, or I shouldn't say literally, it is just hilarious to watch. It is funny to watch. To watch this party of Sodom and Gomorrah continually inwardly decay because now they're embracing of transgenderism and children. Biden came out and admitted it. This, the one thing that has always concerned me when it comes to politics is that we take a fringe group of people that have this outlandish idea, and then we generalize that about the entire party. When the tiki torch wielding Charlottesville idiots, little white supremacists, which I think that was probably staged, came out there, well, suddenly Republicans are the party of racists. Like, wait, this is a group of frat boys being stupid. That doesn't represent the entire Republican Party. That's dumb. But when you have the sitting president, a member of the DNC, legitimately tweet out that we support trans kids, yada, yada, that is your party's official position, regardless if you like it or not. That is it. So Democrats, get out. Get out of the ship. It's sinking. It is sinking. When you have a president that is pro giving puberty blockers to children and gender reassignment, and he legitimately says this, that is now your official party's stance, whether you like it or not, because the main motherfucker, he just said it. Sucks to suck, bro. I'm sorry I don't get to touch little kids. I know that upsets you. But that's where we're at. Oh, my God. Now, this is the last article I want to cover. Title 42. Many of you have seen there's about 22 states that are suing the Biden administration because Biden is wanting to do away with Title 42. Now, I won't lie. At first, like, what the hell is Title 42? So I pulled up this article for research purposes just to show you guys what's going on. This is coming from MSN, Ask the Expert. This is, what is all the fuss over the removal of Title 42? Title 42 is a policy that was enacted. Again, Biden is talking about doing away with this. Title 42 is a policy that was enacted by the Trump administration, then continued by the Biden administration. It was put into place to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by keeping migrants from entering the country during the pandemic. Removing Title 42, however, is not that simple, according to several experts. Currently, there are thousands of migrants waiting to enter the United States to seek asylum, and that number is expected to increase with the ongoing violence in Ukraine. Local reporters at the border have even said there has not been any evidence of groundwork or even preparation for processing the high amounts of people to soon enter the U.S. on the policy once the policy is lifted. Again, I'm not so old that I don't remember. Do y'all remember who President Biden put in charge of the border? Do y'all remember? Because I do. I remember. And she hasn't been anywhere near there. Kamala Harris, Vice President. She went to Ukraine before she went to our southern. She went to El Paso, I think. Sorry. The border goes a little bit further beyond that as well. So we have this border issue, but there has been nothing done to combat this. And they say that Greg Abbott busing these illegal immigrants to D.C. is a publicity stunt. Possibly, yes. But at the same token, your job as the federal government is the sovereignty of a nation, which includes the nation's borders, and you're doing nothing. You've got Democrats on the southern Texas border saying, I'm not voting for Biden again. We are in dire need of help, and you're not. You are not doing your job. But hey, it's cool. All these Twitter freaking people, all these Twitter liberals want to go after Elon Musk. No billionaire should have that much money. You should be taxed even higher. Like, no, I don't like it. I don't let rich people. Broke, lazy people annoy the fuck out of me. I'm sorry. I don't care if that offends you. If you're lazy and you're broke as a result, I don't give a shit what your opinion is. Go be a loser with the rest of the losers. Majority of them are liberals. Imagine sitting there dictating to a man who's worked his ass off in an entrepreneurship world and saying, this is what you should be spending your money on. Or there's one lady, I posted on my Instagram, she's talking about like, he should be taxed heavier. Why is it that you idiots never look at the root of the problem? You know, like, again, it's like upwards of 40 to 45% of the country's taxes are paid by like the wealthiest 4%. Did you know that? So maybe it's not an issue of taxing people more, but instead figuring out what the fuck the government is spending our money on. Again, $3 billion to Ukraine to fight a proxy war with Russia. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. But yeah, let's tax Elon more. And this is the other thing that liberals don't seem to understand. Like, I would really suggest they take a crash course in Milton Friedmanism when it comes to economics. If I'm a millionaire, billionaire even, and you say you're going to increase my taxes, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you to go get fucked, and I'm going to outsource my jobs overseas. Cheaper, you can't touch me, and I'm going to keep and make way more money. And ultimately, you're just hurting the American economy. You're losing jobs. You're using stimulus. I mean, these idiots don't realize that. Why do you think so many companies, why do you think Tesla moved to Texas? Black Rifle moved to Texas. Grunt Style moved to Texas. Texas doesn't tax the shit out of their people. The federal government does, absolutely. All they're going to do is just pick up and go someplace else. I would too. It's about the Benjamins, baby. So if the government wants to take more of my money, I'm going to tell them, well, okay, you made that choice. I'm going overseas. Deuces. I'm out. That's why when people talk about, like, is it made in America? If it's not, I do my best to support made in American businesses. I do. But at the same token, there are people that own American businesses that outsource to China, Taiwan, places like that because they can get a cheaper product. Probably not the same great quality, but even still, I get it. I get it. Because these are the conditions the federal government has created and forced us into. With inflation right now, good luck starting a business that you can outsource to overseas and be competitive. You won't. You're going to have way less margins, way less if you have it American made. That's what inflation does. Every little thing in America gets impacted by inflation. Everything. And it sucks that it's that way, but this is what the Biden administration has created. You get what you vote for, people. And I think Democrats are finally starting to see that. And I'm hoping that come midterms, this whole thing changes, but we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us here at the Shell Shock CBD studios here in Richardson, Texas. Again, this episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. We really appreciate all your love and support. Thank you for being there for us and supporting our company. We are a year 3 company. We've done insanely well for ourselves. We have a great, great series of products out there. We have some new ones coming out for you very soon. Really excited to tell you about these in the future. We've got, I'm not going to say it yet, but we have some new products being released here in the next 2 to 3 months. I cannot wait for you to see it. But anyway, share the podcast, leave a review, help us out. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for all your subs and donations on Twitch. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheJohnBurke. And outside of that, I will see you all bright and early Monday morning for the return of the All American Savage Show podcast. And as always,